This is Rockin' with Jam Man. This is with Jack Starr. How you doing, man?
Good. How's everything going over there?
Good, man. Just chilling. Enjoying life. Swimming, stuff like that.
Y-
Summertime.
Great. That's what you should be doing and listening to good metal.
Yes, got to get the metal in. Got to get that.
That's it.
Got to get that. Ah.
Exactly. Yes. So we're on the same page.
Yes, we are. How's life treating you, man?
What'd you say?
How's life treating you?
Oh, pretty good. I have to say very good. In fact, the new album is doing really well. It's only been out about a week, and we're getting a really good response to YouTube and a lot of views on Facebook and all that good stuff. And it's a good album. Have you had a chance to listen to it yet?
Yeah, I really like it. Just like all the heavy metal and everything. It's just like, it's.
It's got it. It's definitely got a bit of a metal thing going on, and in every way, the singing, the guitar playing, the really heavy drums and all that. So it's a good stuff. Did you like the album cover? Did you get to see it or not?
Yeah, it was Dragon again. Yeah, it was awesome, man.
Yes.
Amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a big fire-breathing dragon, and there was like a sorceress-looking woman at the foot of the mountain, and yeah.
So were they like summoning it or something like that?
Well, I think that the sorceress, because she has a lot of power, I think she was kind of in control of the dragon.
Okay.
And by the way, we gave the dragon a name last week. The dragon is called Blaze, Blaze the dragon. And maybe when we start touring in America, we'll have somebody dress up as the dragon and shoot some flames out. And that could be part of the show,
That
or
would
maybe not. We'll see.
that would
You
be
know,
really cool. That actually would be so cool.
Yeah, I think so. And we'll start selling little like stuffed animals of Blaze the Dragon from Burning Star.
For those who are watching and not familiar with you yet, why don't you give me your backstory?
Okay, sure. Well, in 1981, a really long time ago, I started a power metal band called Virgin Steele. And we put out some albums, and we kind of started a new style of music called epic metal, power metal. And that style of music, it had certain ingredients in that style. One of them was like kind of like long arrangements, different time changes within each song, minor key guitar solos, and lyrically, it was about overcoming bad stuff. Just basically the triumph of good over evil, and the triumph of people who believe in themselves, being able to persevere and to come out on top. So that whole style is something that I like to take partial credit for, because we were one of the first bands doing that kind of music, and this was around the time that Iron Maiden was just coming out. Another band called Saxon was coming out, and we were coming out, and so that's kind of the background story of Burning Star.
I heard you never took guitar lessons and learned to play by ear. Is that true?
That is 100% true, and a lot of older guitar players like myself really don't take lessons. Surprisingly, even like some of the greatest guitar players like George Harrison of the Beatles, Jimi Hendrix, none of those guys ever took guitar lessons. You kind of learn by doing it, and for me, I learned by listening to all those great guitar players like Jimmy Page of Led Zeppelin, Tony Iommi, from Black Sabbath. I listened to a lot of them, and then I listened to a lot of blues like B.B. King, and I jumbled it all together, and I came up with my own style.
So you are a major influence on rock and roll, and as we know it, you are.
Well, I wouldn't go that far, but I like hearing it, so I'm going to go with it.
You know,
Thank you, Jam Man.
Yeah, I got like to hear my, I'm a special guy here. I just started a giant industry, man. I gotta stay humble. So come on, give me some love now. Come on.
Yep, and I have to stay humble too. We all do, so it's all good.
How does it feel knowing your music helped shape one of the biggest bands in history?
Well, it's a cool thing. I don't know if it really happened, so I'm not going to take full credit on that, but I just want to say we were there at the beginning. So there was a lot of looking over each other's shoulders. Bands were looking over our shoulders, we were looking over their shoulders to see what they were doing. Kind of like getting a test in school. Sometimes, you're not supposed to, but sometimes you're kind of curious to see how the other person next to you is answering the questions. And I will say this though, that in the case of like Judas Priest, you're familiar with them, right? One of the
Yeah, yeah.
biggest bands in metal. Uh, Coincidentally, okay, in 19, I think it was around 84, Virgin Steele, we put out an album called Guardians of the Flame. Then about 6 months later, Judas Priest puts out an album called Defenders of the Faith. And I don't know, when I heard and saw the Judas Priest album, I was thinking, I wonder if those guys from England, who are a great band, I wonder if they saw the Virgin Steele album, which they probably did, and thought, that's really cool. I like where this band is thinking, and I like their concept, Guardians of the Flame. Maybe we'll do something similar, but we can't do the exact same thing because that would be cheating. And so it's very possible that we did influence a lot of bands that became much bigger than us. And in the case of Priest, I know that about 3 or 4 months before they came out with their Defenders of the Faith album, Kerrang magazine, which is like a big British heavy metal magazine, they had said something like, "This is the album that Judas Priest should have made." So if I were in Priest, I would have seen that. I said, "Who the hell are these Virgin Steel guys from America? The album that we should have made. I'm going to check out, Virgin Steel." So I think there's a bit of everybody kind of borrowing from each other.
This year is the 40th anniversary of Virgin Steele. Do you guys still talk? And if so, any plans for the anniversary?
No, actually, the only one that I'm in contact with is the bass player, Joe O'Reilly. And we've always stayed good friends. The drummer, Joey Evasion, the original drummer, I'm not sure if he's playing at this point because I really haven't been in contact with him in a long time. And I haven't like seen anything like on the internet, of him being in a band. But the singer uh, is still playing, and he actually still goes by the name Virgin Steel. So he's still active. And but I don't know. I kind of don't think that that'll happen. Though I want to say right on your show, an exclusive, Jam Man, that I'm okay with it. If he wants to contact me and contact our record label, which is Global Rock Records, and our manager, Giles Lavery, and he knows how to get a hold of us. And it's something that we should definitely talk about because there's a lot of people in Europe that would really want to see us back together on the same. I see you better now with the light, by the way.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
Yeah, no problem.
You lagged out for a minute. That's why I didn't talk. You liked it, but yes.
Oh,
So there might actually be a tiny chance of an anniversary still.
anything is possible. I'm not really looking for that to happen. I'm really looking for this new album that we put out, Souls of the Innocent, which just came out a week ago. I'm really looking for that to really capture the hearts and minds of a lot of metalheads. And I know they're out there, and I know a lot of them listen to your show. And I want them to check out the album because I think it's good. And everybody goes on your show and says it's great, whatever they're doing. Like whether it's Carmine Appice, the greatest, one of the greatest drummers of all time, who was on your show, or Chuck Wright from the incredible band, Quiet Riot. We all like to think that what we're doing, and especially the newest things we're doing, are good. And I'm no exception. I really think that Souls of the Innocent is a great album. And the new video comes out the 1st of July on YouTube. So if anybody's listening and they want to check it out, 1st of July, it will be on YouTube. It's a song called Demons Behind Me.
What made you want to leave the band in the first place?
Well, we just kind of went our separate ways, and sometimes that happens. It happens musically. It happens in relationships, sometimes married couples break up, sometimes just people, for whatever reason, the magic, the chemistry isn't there anymore and they just go their separate ways. So, and, I always wish them the best, and I'm sure they wish me the best in Burning Star. So sometimes things happen in life, but you got to keep on keeping on.
I bet it felt pretty good after leaving, and your first album, Out of the Darkness, is one of the top albums of the year.
Yeah, that was like really, really exciting. I put out this album, Out of the Darkness, got a brand new singer named Rhett Forrester, who had been in the band Riot. That and two of the biggest metal magazines at the time, which were Kerrang from Britain and Metal Forces from Britain. And so they had this the year roundup where the writers write their top 20 favorite albums. And two of the writers both went on record and said Out of the Darkness, which was my first solo album by Jack Starr, was one of the top 20 albums of the year. So how did it feel? It felt great. It was very cool.
And you have a new album coming out next month called Souls of the Innocent, right?
That's right. Yeah. And I hope that people are going to check it out because we have a new singer. He's from Italy. His name is Alex Panza. He's 29 years old. We have a new record company, Global Rock, and they're from Europe, from England and Germany. It's a European record label. And we have a new album. So new album, new singer, new record label. It's kind of like we're really like reinventing ourselves, And I think that that's a good thing to do. Like every couple of years, people should kind of take inventory and see, can I change for the better? Can I do something differently? And that's what we did. And it's really cool to talk about it too,
Yeah, that's really cool, man. Good for you. So you're making a 2.0 of yourself, like making it a
Yeah,
new you.
absolutely. Yeah.
I really dug that video for Souls of the Innocent. That song sounds like Judas Priest and Iron Maiden had a baby. So good.
I love that. Jam Man, I am going to quote you on that.
Okay.
That's a really good quote. What was it again? Okay, Priest and Iron Maiden had a baby.
Yes.
Okay, now I'm going to ask you, can we use that? Is that okay if we quote you on it?
Yeah, sure. I give rights.
Okay, all right. No, I just wanted to ask you because it's always good and correct to ask people if they mind being quoted. And I think that was a really, really good quote. So anyway, thank you.
Much. Thank you, man.
And we'll quote you. And when people refer to you, you like to be referred to as Jam Man?
Yes.
Not by your name, your first name, anything like that, right? Okay.
Well, yeah, everybody just calls me Jim, and Some people call me
Okay,
Ramsey, but everybody calls me Jam Man mostly.
Jammin, it is, and I love that quote. I really think it's cool.
Like, thank you, man. I just speaking the truth, man.
Yeah,
I really dig
good.
the song, man.
That's great, and hey, did your father get to hear it too, or not?
Yes.
What, okay, did he dig it?
Yeah, he sure did.
Okay, cool. All right, because now I feel like we're hitting two generations,
We sure are, man. We sure
and
are.
that's a good thing. Yep.
I'm I'm telling you, man, your singer looks like Andy Samberg, that dude from Brooklyn, NineNine.
I know the show you're talking about. You're talking about this show on cable where they have a rock band.
Yeah,
Is that it? Right. They
yeah,
have a rock band, right, on the
yes,
show, and
yeah,
they travel around in like this van and they
yeah,
go to gigs. Am I right?
yes.
Okay. I saw that. I saw that about 4 months ago, and then I binged out on it. I saw one show and then I saw about 10 of them afterwards in a row, and they were all good. Definitely. And I think you're right. I think Alex has that look, kind of that hungry, I work out metal look.
Yeah. At first, I thought it was doing a bit. I thought it was actually the guy doing a bit, and I was like, how cool! You guys had a big cameo. No way.
No, I don't know if we could even afford he probably would have wanted a lot of money to do a cameo. And you know what? Not that many people really know who he is. We know who he is because we're really into metal. But I don't know how many people really even saw that show. What was it called again? 999?
Brooklyn NineNine. Two.
Brooklyn Nine, two nines.
Yeah,
Okay. Brooklyn 99. Okay. Yeah, I don't know how many people saw it, but hey, let's give it a plug too while we're at it.
yeah, I get you, man. How did you get so black in that room?
That's a really good question because, okay, the filmmaker that put this together, a guy named Danny Merton or Merton, I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. He's from England also. Uh, his concept was he wanted to make the video look really like sparse. By that, I mean like nothing going on except us, nothing to be distracted by, no beautiful girls in bikinis, no wrestlers, no monsters chasing us, just the band against this black backdrop. And I don't know how he did it, but he did tell us, he gave us pretty specific instructions. He said, I want you guys to play in a totally blacked out room. And if there's anything showing, I don't want it. Put up black curtains, do whatever you have to do, but I want that room to be dark. And we got it pretty dark.
So this guy was like, I want you to be black. I want you to be black. Put this in the black room. Pull off a Michael Jackson if you have to. I need this to be black.
Whatever you got to do, you got to do it. And we were really happy to oblige him. And by the way, Michael Jackson wasn't that black, since we're going to be politically correct. I think he kind of became white, but he was, what? He was pretty cool though, and he wasn't metal, but I got to give Michael Jackson credit for having Van Halen on Beat It, that was pretty cool. And then the video, what was that? Beat It. That's
Yeah,
it.
yeah, like
Incredible video. So I just want to make sure that nothing bad about Michael. He's not metal, but he was cool.
yeah, he was cool. He was cool. He did some stuff with the rock. Don't worry. He was the
Yeah,
king of pop, but he did get some rock and roll people with him.
he got a little bit of rock in there. Yeah, absolutely.
It's challenging getting the younger generation, like my generation, to into rock or metal. I mean, everything they do is just push and pop and rap down their throat. That's all they do.
Yeah, it's going to definitely be a challenge, Jim. And in fact, I was really surprised when I found out your age. I mean, you're 11, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I thought it was incredible, that, hey, 11-year-old guy and he's into our music. He's into metal. He likes Priest. He likes Maiden. What could be better, you know? Uh, no, it's not really that big a deal in Europe. Like when we play in Europe, sometimes, you know, we have like 14-year-olds, 15-year-olds, 16-year-olds at our show. When I first went over there, I was like really surprised because we weren't used to that from playing in America, you know, where the average age of the metalheads is like 30, 40s, 50s, 60s, whatever, you know. And when we first went to Europe and we saw like there was a lot of really young people digging the metal, that was really a fantastic thing. In fact, how we even met our singer Alex is about like 8 or 9 years ago. We played a show in Europe, and you know, when you play a show, sometimes you know the bands after the show, they do a merchandise table. You know, you sell T-shirts and posters and what have you, and then a lot of the fans will line up and get the autographs and get the merch. And we didn't know it at the time, but Alex, our singer now, from 8 years ago when he was like 21, was on that autograph line because he really liked our band and he wanted us to sign his CD and all that. So that's that's a little trivia thing. We didn't know it, but after he joined our band, boom, there we saw it. We saw the pictures of our singer from 8 years earlier, and he looked like he was about 14 years old at the time. So it's a crazy story, but yeah, in Europe they're into that, you know.
The reason why is because a lot of more people kind of toured there, you could say, like, John Lennon, Iron Maiden, stuff like that. They more toured there because, like, British, well, like England or the United Kingdom, they didn't really do that much with hip hop. Like in the 90s, they didn't have like a revolution. They had more of rock and roll still and stuff like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Uh, I think you're right. And I think England and Germany and Greece for us has been a great country. Italy, those countries all really like embrace heavy metal, and not just heavy metal of like the new metal, you know. By that I mean, you know, the new metal of like, you know, Rob Zombie or Ramstein or whatever. They embrace a lot of the older metal, which would be us, you know, doing kind of like 80s inspired metal, you know, and they were into that. So we always look forward to going over there. And but our mission, if we have one, is to turn on a lot of Americans and a lot of young people into checking out our new album, Souls of the Innocent, you know. Good is good. It doesn't matter how old you are, and it doesn't matter what style of music it is. It's either good or it's bad.
I guess if parents or older relatives or rockers, they should be educating the youth on what you should be listening to.
You're right. And you know what? And I'm glad that that is occurring because I see it sometimes in concerts, you know, where parents bring their kids, you know, you see it at Kiss concerts where parents will bring their kids. And so it's a good thing, you know. And I like it a lot better because it's real honest music. It's not played on synthesizers, and it's not like, you know, Lady Gaga coming out there singing to backing tracks or what have you. It's real, it's live, and it's what music should be.
Ever think about like doing an album with a bunch of like your famous friends, like calling it Jack's All-Star Band?
You know, hey, I would love that. you know, we'll have to think about doing that. That could be something in the future, you know. Uh, maybe I could get like Bruce Dickinson of Iron Maiden. We'll get Rob Halford in on it. Whoever else will be willing to do. David Coverdale would be cool from Whitesnake. Do you like them?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. Um, yeah, that would be great, you know, or people that aren't quite as well known, but just great people like Chuck Wright of Quiet Riot. And of course, like the great Carmine Appice, man, that would be an honor playing with him. He's an incredible drummer, as is our drummer. You know, our drummer, Rhino, came out of an 80s metal band that I don't know if you've heard of them, but I bet your father has. They're
Okay.
called Manowar. Does that ring a bell at all?
Man of War.
Later, when we get done, ask your dad if he was into 80s metal. They made a pretty good impression in the 80s, you know, and actually they're still at it and they're still very big in Europe. Manowar is still like one of the biggest metal bands in the world in Europe.
It sounds familiar. I feel like I've heard it when I was younger. Manowar, Manowar.
Uh, yeah. Yeah, they even had a song named after themselves.
I,
Yeah.
I, I see you're friends with my boy Ross the Boss. Um,
Yes. Ross the Boss is great, great guitar player. And he was in Manowar. So you just, I don't know if you just did this subconsciously or consciously, but you linked it together and you were right. Ross the Boss is the original guitar player of Manowar, and Rhino played drums in that band as well. And they were a great band. And I like the way you said my my boy Ross, because you know Ross is like a character. You know, he's been around forever, like I have, and you got to give him props because he plays great and he just keeps at it. You know, and kind of like the concept of last man standing. You know, where where you never give up, no matter what. And I'm the same way. You know.
did you guys hang out at CBGBs back in the day? Did you guys hang out there?
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely went there. That was more like punk and new wave, but they did have
It's like
some
underground.
hardcore, you know, some hardcore music too. And I know Ross kind of did a little bit of that when he was younger. He had a band called the Dictators, and they were kind of like, you know, uh, new wave, hardcore, punk meets metal, you know, very cool band. And they also had the bass player that later joined Twisted Sister, Mark the Animal. So, yeah, so kind of like I would say Ross is like a contemporary of what I do. And definitely, hi, Ross. If you're watching this, you got a great album. Last album kicked ass, brother.
Yo, Ross, he's come on, reach out with him again. Give him a nice chit chat. He really likes you, and you guys would be best of friends. Are you guys best of friends?
Absolutely. In fact, Ross played on one of our biggest selling albums, Land of the Dead. He did a killer solo on a song called Here We Are. And it's a song that was co-written by myself and our bass player, Ned Maloney. And we were thinking, who could we get to do a guest guitar solo? And we thought, you know, the best guy for this would be Ross the Boss. Why? Very simply, he kicks ass. So we called him up and he agreed to do it. And it was very cool that he did it.
So you are with a band. What plans for the release? A big party or what like that?
What'd you say? I didn't get it.
So with your band, what's the plan for the release? A big party or what?
Oh yeah, yeah. Like, what's our plan? The plan right now is to keep putting out some videos. We have three. The first one came out a week ago, and it's doing really good. It's all over the internet. It's all over YouTube. It's doing great. The second one comes out July 1st, but I'm ahead of myself. Let me give you the name of the first one. First one is called Souls of the Innocent, and it's by Burning Starr, and it is on YouTube. So by all means, go and check it out. The second one comes out July 1st, and that is called Demons Behind Me. And I have to say that with that voice, you know, demons. Anyway, demons. I'm making myself laugh here. So, and then there's a third one coming out, which is called I Am the Sinner. That'll be the third video.
Yeah, that sounds
So we're getting these videos out there. We want people to not only hear us, but we want them to see us. We want them to see our singer Alex and make that connection that you made with Brooklyn 99. And because that was a great show.
yeah.
So we're on it. You know, we're going to do everything possible to get this album out there and selling and doing well, because it should. And that's it. That's what we do.
Are you guys playing any shows this year?
We don't have a single show planned right now. We're waiting for the album to come out. We're waiting to see the reaction we're going to get. And then we're going to decide on what kind of tour that we're going to do, whether we're going to do small clubs, whether we're going to play in Europe, or whether we're going to play in America, or whether we're going to be in support of a bigger band and do bigger venues as like their special guests. So, and that's really in the hands of our manager, Giles Lavery, who manages some really cool bands, and our record label, Global Rock Records. So the record and the sales and the way it implements itself in the marketplace is really going to dictate to us what's going to happen with it.
So you might tour like 2023 or maybe late this year.
I would say there's an outside chance that we'll be doing it at the end of the year, but definitely in 2023, we will be out there and we'll still be supporting this album because albums take time to make. And for some reason or other, every album we've done has taken like 4 or 5 years. We're hoping to chop that down though to 2 years for the next album.
Have you done any shows after the pandemic at all?
Yes, we did actually. We did one. The bass player's father-in-law, who has since passed away, was in a British metal band called UFO, and they were a pretty big metal band in the 80s. When he passed away, Ned, the bass player in my band, Burning Starr, Ned said, you know, we really need to do a benefit concert for Paul Chapman's family. And that's what we did. Ned organized this big concert. It was an outdoor concert because, you know, it was right during the height of the pandemic. And a lot of people, you know, felt weird about going into a closed space, you know, with 1,000 other people. So we did this outdoor concert. We had these big television screens showing videos of UFO and Paul Chapman. And then we had an all-star jam. And this was like really like during the height of the whole COVID thing. I think it was around like later part of 2020. And, you know, some people were saying, oh, you guys are crazy. You know, you can't do a concert right now. And we said, you know, life has to go on. We're going to do this outside. We're going to respect the fact that people are, you know, have concerns for their safety. And of course, that's very important. And we're going to respect that as well. We're going to do it outside. We're going to make the seating not so close together. And that's what we did. We had I would say about 700 people show up. Not one person got sick or had any kind of bad stuff that happened from that concert. And we got to honor the memory of this great guitar player, Paul Chapman, from a very iconic British band, UFO, who just happened to be the father-in-law of our bass player, Ned Maloney.
I have been to a few shows and fans seem more into the shows after not being able to rock out for years.
Right.
Yeah.
I think you got a good point there. I think that people really missed live shows and they missed just being able to hear the sound of live music and be part of that whole concert experience. Because really, I mean, nothing beats it, you know. It's the coolest thing. And, you know, all musicians are fans themselves, you know. We do this because somebody we liked along the way turned us on, you know. Some of the first shows that I went to see were Black Sabbath and Led Zeppelin and Blue Oyster Cult. It was very kind of almost traumatic for me, you know, to go into these concert halls and see these guys that I knew from record albums, see them alive, see them in front of me, see them playing like this really loud, powerful music. And just basically it was in my face and it was cool, you know? So live music is important.
What is life like on the road for you?
Well, it really depends, you know. I mean, there's two ways, you know, to play on the road. One way is like you're really roughing it and it sucks. And, you know, and there's like 3 of you in one hotel room and you're traveling in like in a little van, going from venue to venue and traveling sometimes 7 or 8 hours between one show and the next show. And then there's a better way where you're going to have a tour mapped out and you're going to be taking a plane, to the shows. Uh, that's a lot better. Uh, Sometimes, you're sharing, like I said, you're sharing hotel rooms with everybody. Uh, Sometimes it can be rough, and sometimes you don't really get as much sleep as you want, and you don't get like great food, because there's no time. You can't sit there in a restaurant, and order the special of the day if you have to be somewhere else later on that night, So it's tough, but it's rewarding, if
So
that makes sense, It's
yeah,
like, yeah,
like your luck basically, or like take a risk but get high rewards from it. Something like
exactly. Yeah, exactly. And there's an old saying that nothing in life really comes free, and you have to kind of work for like everything, that you want, and you have to sometimes sacrifice a little bit, So I'm not saying I want more of the sacrifice and more of the of roughing it, but sometimes you have to go through that, You have to kind of walk through a mile of of hard road before you get to that really smooth, wonderful place that you're going to.
what is on your writer?
What is what?
What is on your writer?
Oh, ah, okay. You mean like Van Halen asking for like brown M&Ms?
Yeah, like something like that, like beef turkey, like what's your drink, stuff like that.
Well, everybody has their own like little things, that they want. Because, as you get older in life, you want to try to eat healthy. Um, so some of the things that we like to have the concert promoters provide backstage is things like fresh fruits, vegetables, water, and of course, beer to a certain extent,
Beer. Yeah, you gotta
you
get
know,
that.
you you got to get that in there. But we're older now, so we're not, getting, you know, pummeled and drunk on beer, Though if we don't have to wake up the next day really early, that can happen also, and that's okay. But responsibilities and all that and the next show have to come first.
Do you have a ritual before you go on stage, like knock on wood?
Yes. We all have like little things that we do. We like to have a group huddle and talk about, what we're going to do and so on and so forth. And I like to do like a little warm up on the guitar. I usually like to have like a little tiny practice amp backstage and just go through, just some scales and some warm up stuff. And uh, the singer likes to probably, do some vocal exercises, the kind of like vocal stuff that sounds kind of really lame, like, oh, 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 yeah,
Like stuff like that.
yes, yeah, that kind of, stuff. And so we all get warmed up, we want to, when we get out there, we just want to come out there and we want to hit the ground running.
Hit the ground running. Then it makes sense. Sorry, I just had to make that reference.
You knew where I was quoting from. Very cool. Okay, little Van Halen and the.
um, what is your favorite memory from playing a show?
Oh God, there's so many of them. I think it's really okay. I'll give you one. First time we went to Germany. It's like 2012. We were doing Sands of Time, which is one of the songs off of the Land of the Dead album, which is the album that Ross the Boss did a guest solo on. Well, anyway, we're doing this song Sands of Time, and there's a part in the song where there's a very like predominant guitar riff, and it goes something like dun 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 dun, and the whole crowd is going whoa, whoa, whoa,
Oh,
whoa. And so, when you look at it and you see like 1,500 people, 2,000 people uh, singing the melody, kind of doing like a Viking chant, it's
oh,
great. It's great, and you think this is really cool. This is like better than like a gold record because you're connecting to this large group of people, and they're throwing it back at you. You're going down, 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 and they're going whoa, 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 whoa.
oh.
So they're giving you back the riff. So I would have to say honestly that that's really my favorite memory when I first encountered it, because I wasn't used to an audience singing along, you know, with your songs. And they do that a lot in Europe, actually.
What is your worst?
Hmm. Okay, let me try to think. Okay, well, my worst is like a really long time ago. I did a festival in Europe, and I hadn't really checked the whole stage setup very well. And I plugged my guitar into a Marshall, which usually promoters have Marshalls, backstage. But unknowing to me, the Marshall that I plugged into was a Marshall bass amp. Marshall bass amps don't sound good for the guitar. And I was like feeling really frustrated, like, why am I getting no sustain? Why am I getting no distortion? And it was almost like somebody had just totally, destroyed my playing in half an hour. And that was the worst memory I've ever had. I will never, ever plug into an amp ever again. I don't care if it says Marshall, if it says Wagner, if it says, and I'm gonna check that amp. I'm gonna hit a chord on it before I go on, and I'm gonna make sure that it's really a guitar amp, because it was embarrassing and it sucked. And I learned a lesson, and I learned it the hard way.
And I was embarrassed. Everybody laughed at me. It was not fun. I didn't like it that much. Stuff like that.
Ex- exactly. I don't know if they laughed at me. I think some of them like felt sorry for me. It's like
Oh, oh,
it's,
that's
it's
sweet.
even. I think it's even worse than if they laughed. I think they were like, "Man, that guitar player's got a really horrible sound. What's up with that?" And I didn't even realize it till almost the end. We only had like a 30-minute set because at festivals, they don't let you do your full set, which was actually kind of like a good thing. So I didn't even realize it till like almost the end of our set that I was plugged into a bass amplifier. But it said Marshall on it. So I was like, oh, it's a Marshall. Oh, yeah, that'll be great.
Yeah, you gotta
Mm.
trust. Nope. Nope.
So I gave you an exclusive on that. I never told anybody that story before, by the way.
Thank you so much. I really do appreciate that. Thank you.
You got it, brother.
Yeah. Brother from another mother.
Brother from another mother. And in my case, a really older brother.
What do you do in your downtime for fun?
Well, I like to do fun things like to go to the beach. Uh, I like to ride my bicycle. Uh, I like to veg out, watch movies, and I like to hang out with my beautiful fiance and do stuff that women like to do, because they like to go to restaurants and go shopping and whatever. And I kind of like, do that because when you get older, you'll learn you have to make what the women that you're in a relationship with, you need to make her happy. It's part of the instructions that you get,
Yeah.
you know,
You gotta
how
make
to, it's like relationship 101 that they should be teaching in college. So anyway, yeah. And those are the things that I like to do when I'm not playing my guitar. But honestly, I like to play like every day because I really enjoy it. And sometimes I even like will annoy my fiance, because I'll sit there watching a movie and I'll have a little tiny little practice amp and I'll be playing as I'm watching the movie. And sometimes it'll be like, could you, play a little bit lower? I'm trying to watch this movie.
Yeah. Could you not? Thanks. Just there's like a movie and you're like playing an entire song right now. Like
Exactly. Exactly. I can't hear the dialogue in the movie, I'm hearing your stupid metal riff. Stop it already.
you not like please with the cherry on top.
Exactly.
What is next for you?
Well, really, right now, the next for me is I've got a whole bunch of interviews I'm doing this week, next week, and the week after. I'm really super happy that our label, Global Rock, is really into this album. I mean, they hired like really good publicists and they're contacting everybody. I did like 3 interviews today. I did one with a radio station in Chicago. I did one in England with a website called Rock the Joint. I did WLTL in Chicago. I'm doing a bunch of these. And so it's really cool. And I don't mind doing it because I'm so happy that this label is willing to spend money and, and hire like a top publicist and do all this stuff and make these videos. Because, everything you do in rock and roll costs money. You want to make videos, you want to make albums, you want to get good album art. It all costs money.
No.
If you don't have people that believe in you, it's really difficult. So you want to get to that point where you're not just like a lonely guy in the middle of the forest saying, look at me, I'm great. You want to have other people that also say, yeah, he's good. Yeah, we're going to put some money behind him. We're going to do some videos. We're going to do all this stuff, So what's going on with me is the next 2 or 3 weeks are going to be super busy, doing the interviews and all that stuff. But that was me. That was me.
Oh, that was you. Okay. I was like, what?
Okay. And I heard you reacting to that. Yeah, that was me. So the next 2 or 3 weeks are going to be busy. And we're really hoping that we're going to try to get in a couple of shows before, I would say September, October, November. We want to have an official record release party. And I say party because we want it to be a fun thing too. We want to invite all our friends that live in the Florida area. We want it to be in a really nice air-conditioned place. We don't want it to be in 100-degree heat where everybody is dying from the heat. And we want to have a DJ that's going to play some cool metal music and play our album in its entirety. And then we'll get up and do the album for the people that are there for the record release party. And so that's kind of our plan. And that'll also serve as a kind of a dress rehearsal for us to get our whole new, our whole new set together, as opposed, because now we got this new album, so we're going to incorporate it into the set.
How do my followers follow you?
How what?
How do my followers follow you?
Oh, how can you follow us, like on Facebook or whatever?
Yeah, like what's your website so they can buy your merch?
Okay. Oh, I would say go on the official Jack Starr's Burning Star Facebook group. Go on just Jack Starr. Go on Burning Star, and go on Global Rock Records, their website. Go on YouTube because we're all over that, and type in Burning Star, and a lot of the albums will come up. Some albums from as far back as like 1981, like 1984, Rock the American Way, which had a great singer, Frank Vestry. Then we'll get into like No Turning Back, Blaze of Glory, the Orange Album. That all had Mike Torelli, who's a great singer and who was, by the way, a contestant on The Voice. I don't know if you ever see that show, that television show, where people get up and they sing. It's called The Voice.
Yeah.
So so anyway, Mike was on there. Uh, and then, no, I'm sorry, not Mike. Now I'm really like getting confused here. No, Mike was not on there. Our next singer, Todd Michael Hall, who we did 3 albums with also, he became a contestant on The Voice. And then when he left our band to do Riot full time and also to pursue his solo career, because he's got a solo career, he made a really great solo album because he's a great singer, Todd Michael Hall. So when he left the band, we had a big problem. It's like, who are we going to get that sounds as good as this guy, you know? And it took us like 2 years, and we found Alex Penza, the guy that you said looks like Brooklyn 99. That's who we found, and it took us 2 years to find him. And he's a great singer, and that's where we're at right now.
Fun question time. You're on death row. It's time for your
Yeah.
meal. What is on your menu?
Woo, boy, that's a really happy question there, Jan, man. Okay, so I'm on death row and I'm going to be executed in the morning.
Well, you have like, but final meals, you get to have your final meal.
Okay, wow. Well, that's a nice sobering thought. No one's asked me that question before. I'm gonna say, you know what? I want some filet mignon.
Okay.
I want some I want a really good Chateau Lafite wine to drink with the steak dinner that I'm having. I want a really great dessert too. I think I would like like maybe chocolate mousse or maybe some really wonderful dessert. And that would be about it. I don't even know if I would have that much of an appetite to eat if I know where I'm going to get electrocuted in the morning or shot. What is it, like by firing squad or?
Well, firing squad. It's I don't let's just say you're gonna get the quickest one and not the painfulest one and not the whole you're gonna get shot. Let's just say that, okay?
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I think that would be better.
yeah.
Yeah, that would be better. I don't want to die by, any of the other methods. Or being, like squashed to death by a big,
Older.
whatever, elephant or whatever. Yeah, I don't think I would have that much of an appetite, but definitely the filet mignon would be kind of nice. A really good steak dinner. I think I would. I think I'd go for that.
If you could choose any superpower, what would you have? What would you choose if you could have any superpower?
Oh man, I think if I could have any superpower, I would want to be able to be invisible when I want to be invisible.
Okay.
I think that would be cool.
Okay, so like you could just be like, I'm out. You pee.
Exactly. I could be, I'm out, but I'm not really out.
Yeah, get it.
Or walk into a bank and, borrow a couple of $100,000 and no one will know. But that's not good. And don't do that at home, kids.
Don't do it. Or
Don't
do it.
Ah! No good. No good.
Let's say you could choose any song ever written by any band and you can change it to where the one you wrote it and it was your song. What song would it be and why?
Well, definitely I would take Stairway to Heaven.
Okay.
And I would very proudly say Words and Music by Jack Starr. Yes, I would take that song. That's a good one.
Okay, man. All right. You can check a little your song and then Stairways to Heaven. Hey, that's a nice song, man. Maybe you know what would be cool? If you could change anything, maybe you can mix it together, like make it into one big long song, like a 10-minute song.
You mean like Stairway to Souls of the Innocent?
Yeah, like
Or-
mix it all in together. Mix it all in. It would go like, okay, then the half of it, and then it would go to that. What do you say? Would you do that?
I think they call that a mashup, right? You know, where
Yeah.
you mash two things together. Yeah, that would be cool. I'm up for that, while we're daydreaming here,
Yeah, just imagining whatever could happen. Well, thank you for being on my show. Hope the next time we talk is at the backstage at one of your shows, dude. It was a pleasure speaking with you, man. You were so nice to me, and I really appreciate it. Heavy metal for life!
You got it, brother. I appreciate it, son, brother,
Brother,
metal, fellow metalhead, fellow
stay metal, my
metalhead.
fellow. See ya.
Okay. See you soon. Thank you for having me on, by the way.
No, it's my pleasure. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Appreciate it. Thank you.